Hello and welcome to a short video overview of value proposition design. My name is Andy and I'm going to walk you through this tool that I've used quite a lot in my career to build both great products and to position and sell them to customers. So why value proposition design? Really, a lot of people when they're starting an idea, they jump into the messaging on the website. What is it that we're trying to say? How do we sell this thing to our customers? A lot of the time, though, it can be really helpful to step back and consider the holistic problem that we're solving for our customers and what's going on in their lives. So when we build these products, we're able to both prioritize what we build and also communicate really effectively with them. So this short talk will really cover value proposition design as a topic, how we do it, how we prioritize it, but also more importantly, there'll be a accompanying worksheet that really you can work through to start to actually create your own value proposition canvas. And start evolving your own understanding of your customer needs. So firstly, this stuff is really hard. It's messy, it's non-linear, there's no correct way of doing this. There are certain tools that we can use, like value proposition design, but at an early stage, you're dealing with a lot of uncertainty, and I would encourage you to embrace that uncertainty. The goal of this kind of work is to reduce this uncertainty over time and evolve a really clear and helpful understanding of our customers' needs so that we can effectively build products for them and communicate that value to them. We're trying to really bring structure to something that is inherently unstructured in a way that is as useful as possible given the stage and reality of where we're at with a new idea. So yeah, creating something new is very hard. There's lots of different ways that we can fail. If it feels unclear and it feels uncertain, that's normal. When we're building something new, the number of ways we can fail are huge. We need to get our customer right, our market right, the revenue model, the cost structure, the customer acquisition, the product, the team, the timing, all of this stuff is playing out. Some of these things are in our control, some of these things are out of our control. What we can do is use tools to effectively and quickly move through this process in as least chaotic and most effective way as possible. So why do we use product market fit frameworks? Firstly, it's to help bring structure to something that is inherently unstructured. When we're going through this, there's no right answer. There's no perfect statistical correct answer. So what we're looking for is to make decisions through a particular lens that hopefully over time compound towards building great products and communicating effectively with customers. What it can help us to do is create an evolving source of truth, not something that we do once and leave in a drawer. This is something that we come back to, add to, and will evolve. And what that really allows us to do is to apply our finite resources effectively, either as solo founders or as part of a group, and develop effective habits as a business. So when we're thinking about product market fit, what we're really saying is, how does our idea fit into the ever-changing reality of our customers' lives and the world in which they're operating? And why most products struggle at the beginning is because they're built on a bunch of assumptions, they're not grounded in real customer behavior, and what we end up doing is building really great products that nobody really wants. Every single idea, when conceived, is great. The vast majority of ideas sadly fail. So we're really trying to reduce that disconnect between customer needs and the reality of our product idea and start building products that customers really want. So just coming back to the idea of evolving, this is not something that will ever be done. This is something that through the history and existence of a business, I would suggest is something that is just kept in, looked at, changed over time, updated, refined and revisited. This is about committing to a process of growing our understanding of customer needs that ideally anybody in the company should be able to add to over time. So we'll start with the canvas, we'll take it out to customers, and then we'll realize that elements of what we thought were incorrect, things that we thought customers really cared about are less important than we thought, and maybe we've missed things or slightly off with some of the stuff that we're considering. So that's fine, that's part of the process, let's embrace that. And the worksheet and the process is something that we can come back to over and over again. I would suggest really, if we're focusing on something full-time, reflecting every few months on this, getting the team together and looking at the ways in which our understanding has changed in that. And that means whenever we're trying to make a decision, whether it be a feature decision, marketing copy, or something else, we're doing so through the lens of synthesis and discussion. So coming on to the idea of a value proposition canvas itself, what it really is, again, is a evolving, holistic understanding of our customer's problem. So that covers their jobs, their pains, and their gains. Every single product in the world can really be broken down into jobs, pains, and gains. And this is how we structure how we break down our customer problem. Jobs are things that customers are trying to get done. Pains are things that are getting in the way of that, things they want to remove or are annoying them. And gains are how we create value and success for customers in their lives. Now, the handout sheet will have a lot of questions that you can ask yourself around how to add these, but we'll just view this for now as where we're starting. We want to take all of our customers' job, pains, and gains, get them out of our head into some form of structure. So using this jobs, pains, and gains framework, I would use normally a digital tool like Miro or Trello, or a physical whiteboard with 3 different columns. Now, the great thing about this process is that there's no limit to the amount of information we can have on here. So I'd encourage you to do is really get deep into your jobs, pains, and gains. Think about what your customers are trying to do, what's frustrating them, and what better looks like for them. So the next stage after creating your value proposition canvas of jobs, pains, and gains is to understand that this is a really broad overview of the problems that in your customers' lives. Not everything is equal, not everything is equally important, so we want to start prioritizing, testing, and refining what we're doing. So early on, everything that we think about feels important, but as you start to speak to customers, you'll learn that certain things are more or less important, and if we have a finite resource, which every single business has, we want to make sure that we're focusing on the most important jobs, the most important gains, and removing the most important pains. So when we've gone through the process of initially getting our jobs, pains, and gains onto our value proposition canvas, what we want to do is start to prioritize them. And this can be quite a difficult challenge, and I would encourage you to sit with this challenge and push through it. What we're trying to do is consider, if we could only mention a certain number of points, which ones would we choose? This will feel quite difficult at first because everything feels important. But by sitting with the pain and that process and going through it, you'll start to get a pretty good understanding of how best to communicate, how best to focus your efforts. But this prioritization is where real value comes from, because eventually we get to the point of having a really nice, very clear, holistic understanding of what our customers care about. And we can use that lens to either build and consider features, or how we speak to those customers, and how we position and sell our business. So bringing it back to the kind of holistic idea of value proposition design, this is more of a way of thinking and a way of approaching how we think about customers and build products for them. It's not a one-off exercise. I would encourage you to use it as a guide for the decisions that you're making in your business. There's no silver bullet with this stuff. A lot of this is signals, gut feeling, and creating an evolving reflection of what our customers need versus what we initially assumed that they would care about. We're using these tools to create this evolving understanding of truth. We're not leaving them in a drawer. We're continuing to go out and speak to customers. And what we're really trying to do is maximize our ability to learn. And I would encourage any activity in your business, particularly at an early stage, that is about speaking to customers. We're really trying to create that evolving understanding through these documents, through these tools that get used, improved, and reflected on, not stuck in a drawer. So take time to reflect on this and realign. If it feels like you're getting a bit stuck, that's very normal and natural. And you can't really playbook this stuff. I think so much of this sits in the value of you as a founder in considering what was the pain that you saw and why you started this business, and really leading into that. So in terms of next steps, what I encourage you to do is use the worksheet, build out your first value proposition canvas, your version 1, prioritize the key areas, and just start going and testing copy on your website, see whether your target customers align with that, and really go out and have as many customer conversations as you can. I've even got to the stage with certain products that I've worked on where I've been speaking to customers and shown them my value proposition canvas and asked them, is this a reflection of your world? Challenge me on this. Once you've done that, revisit and prioritize, and beyond anything else, just embrace the process. What we're trying to do here is train ourselves to make really good gut feel decisions under the circumstances and develop really good habits. And being realistic about whether we are where we need to be in terms of traction, and being open to change, open to being wrong, or in this case, more right, because we don't have to get this right the first time. It's a really evolving process, and we only need to be right once.